So I haven't done a video log in a while, so I figured this is the best time as any. It's been a little bit of an adventure. The blog's been kind of blank lately. Not a lot's been going on. Honestly, I took a day off and just watched House of Cards for 10 episodes, which is about 10 hours, and just took a day off, especially after my friend's engagement party. Seemed like a good time to just lay back. Had private bunks with curtains and whatnot, so, and good Wi-Fi. So figured what a better time to take a day off, just chill. I was in Kuala Lumpur. So then I decided I was gonna head to Pahang, which has got like this walking bridge that you can go through the jungle. Seemed like a great idea at the time, and I put my ticket online, was having a lot of issues with it. And then the next morning I woke up, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go to the bus station, buy a ticket. And lo and behold, ends up one of my transactions went through. So I was like, oh, great. You know, I looked at it and it said Pahang, comma, and like another city. I said, all right, great. Get to the bus, yeah, Pahang, oh yeah, not a problem, okay, great. So first 2 hours go by, kind of just sitting there watching episodes of House of Cards. So I was like, all right, you know, heading right to Pahang, nothing to worry about. So I kind of dozed off, and when I woke up, I was about an hour south of Pahang, continuing heading south till I got to Mersing. Mersing is about an hour plus from Singapore, which is the more southern point of Malaysia, if you're not familiar with the geography, which I wasn't up till a few days ago when I got a quick education. Long story short, I spent a night in Mersing, found a cheap hostel. Luckily that was walking distance from the bus station. So then booked another bus, and I was gonna head up to Marang, which is right off. There's a nice little island that not a lot of people, the tourists, go to. But then I realized my best bet was to continue another 30 minutes north, except it was about 8:30 at night. Uber and Grab didn't exist. So I figured out the next best thing to do was find a 7-Eleven. And I went in and asked for a taxi. I kept trying to Google a taxi, was not very successful. Kept pulling up Yelp stuff. So I just got frustrated, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go to a 7-Eleven and ask for a taxi. Lo and behold, I got a taxi. It cost me like $8, and I got up to, pardon me while I try to read this, Kuala Terengganu. Anyway, it leads to one of the more popular touristy islands, which is Pulau Redang. Forgive my non-English version of speaking English. I butcher the English language, let alone other languages. So forgive me as I keep trying to learn these different island names. There's several different ones, so it's been quite a little bit of a learning curve. Actually, today was spent mostly trying to do some planning and actually plan ahead a little bit and figure out some diving. Now that I've got it in my head that I want to get my Dive Masters certification, because this is one of the cheaper places to do it. And considering Bali is pretty much off the map right now. That was where I was going to head in about a week and a half. Due to the volcano activity on the island, I pretty much put all that on hold, seeing what's going to happen with that. So given that, and that the fact that Malaysia is far enough north, shouldn't see any fallout. Jakarta, last time this volcano erupted, ended up seeing ash. So depending on weather patterns, where the wind goes, it's anyone's guess. So I'm safer just staying up here in Malaysia. Nice thing is having a US passport, I can stay here for 90 days without extending my visa. So I've got time. So I figured, all right, sounds like a great time to get my diving certifications out of the way. So since I'm up here north, I found a resort that is still active. One of the resorts shuts down October 1st because of monsoon season. This is where planning probably comes in handy. I had this all mapped out on my laptop, but of course the Excel sheet that I had that had all the monsoon seasons mapped out for all the different regions, I didn't bother to save on like a Google Docs because that would have been smart. So anyway, learning curve. October is the beginning of monsoon season. Now, given the way the weather's been around here, it's really kind of hit and miss. So I might get kind of lucky, I might not. It's all just kind of up in the air at this point. But then again, that's pretty much how I live day to day on this trip for the last 4 months. So I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna head to Paru Redang. Redang is renowned for diving. A friend of a friend has recommended it as a great dive place. So I'm gonna try to get in 2 days worth of dives, maybe 6 dives worth, and do like hopefully a wreck dive. It's supposed to be incredible. It's just one of those to-dos. Fortunately, it's a big touristy spot, so it's a little bit more expensive. That's why I'm only gonna go for probably 2 days. I was gonna try to do my advanced certification there, but I'm probably gonna blow that off. There is another island. It's about 30 minutes south, which is back to Marang, which is where I was last night to begin with. Leave from there by ferry, and which is only like 30 minutes, and then stay there. Unfortunately, the accommodations are either really, really low hostel, like, you know, a fan is, you pay extra to have a fan in the dorm kind of option. So you can also have a, you know, you can rent a tent. Was kind of considering it. I was looking at possibilities of like a yoga mat and like a portable fan and something like that, but given the fact that it's entering monsoon season, probably not the best idea, so I'll stick with the dorm, pay a little bit more money. I mean, I'm talking about $10 a night for a dorm with a fan. So I'll probably end up doing that. Right now it's low tourist season just because it's going into monsoon season, so it kind of plays into my advantage. Again, this is kind of one of those throwing darts at the dartboard. Not always gonna hit a target. Not every day is gonna be great. So, but the certification is much, much, much cheaper. I'm talking between 1,200 ringgits back on the touristy side to this island that's about 900 ringgits. So that's 300 ringgits difference in a certification for an advanced. Same thing goes for the rest of the courses all the way up. So a substantial amount of money, and if I can rough it for a month, great. I could actually knock out my master's in a month over there, weather pending. So it's kind of all up in the air. Now the fun part is I did meet a scuba dive enthusiast who was actually at the clinic. I went and stocked up on some Tylenol and stuff like that just for my leg. My leg's gotten a lot better. I can walk on it now. Still use the crutches for anything more than like a staircase or, you know, 20 or 30 feet. But I am walking on it. I still feel it a little bit, but it's not painful. So the plus side, I am starting to forget where I leave my crutches, which is actually a pretty incredible feeling after 3.5 months of being on crutches and realizing you go, wait, where did I put my crutches? For something that I couldn't keep out of my eyesight if I went anywhere. Even if I set them down somewhere just to dance, I always kept my eye on them. So to be so dependent on something and then finally be able to let go of it and not need it so much is an incredible feeling. At this point, it's a matter of physical therapy, which diving is probably gonna be the best thing for me because it's the one movement of my foot that I don't do on a regular basis. Everything else, the walking, the leaning, my foot is about the same as the other foot, so that's great. But I need to work on the backwards motion, which is the fin motion. So scuba diving is actually probably going to be the best thing for me. So I'm going to pursue that, given that I still need a little bit of time before I go to Vietnam anyways. But anyway, so this pharmacist and dive enthusiast recommended Borneo. And the spot, he goes, basically if the monsoon season gets bad here, go to Borneo, and recommended me to a few spots that basically don't really have a monsoon season. He goes, this is where I go when it gets bad here. So I got some really good insider information just from going to pick up some Tylenol. This could really pay off, and I could just actually end up completing my dive masters for a very low cost. even cheaper, way cheaper than Cambodia. So I kind of got stuck in my head, I want to do that. And then after that, maybe go to Vietnam. Who knows? I might end up just spending a year in Southeast Asia. I'm not the world's greatest backpacker, honestly. I've been to Thailand twice and probably end up being there a third time, most likely, before they stop letting me in for the year, basically. That'll be the last time I'm allowed in Thailand. Anyway, that's just kind of where I'm at, and things are going good. Just been kind of laying low lately. Coming up on 4 months. Kind of hit a little bit of a wall, especially I've gotten away from a lot of the tourists, so hasn't really been so much talking, trying to promote my blog. So the blog traffic's really died down, but that's to be expected. Haven't really been pushing it too much, but I am going to be going a little off the grid, so it's going to get even less. Honestly, there's probably not going to be much Wi-Fi, especially when I go to the smaller island of, let's see, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here, the Kapas Islands, which is definitely a little bit not your touristy. It's a smaller island. Wi-Fi is not so readily available. I'm sure I can find some, so I'll try to update when I can. But the GoPro that my brother gave me, Sean, should come in really handy. This is where you're going to get to see all that in action. Hopefully I can get some pretty amazing things, edit it down, and start posting some of that. So the blog's going to probably go dark for a little bit. If so, that's why. Just lack of Wi-Fi. And I apologize that I haven't been doing too much lately. Again, just kind of came down here for a friend's proposal and then just kind of chilled out. Just kind of burnt out, honestly. Been going so much, especially the last few days in Chiang Mai were really a lot. 4 days, and then we did a lot of in and out of a tuk-tuk, photographing. I mean, photographing takes a lot of energy, period. Just trying to set up shots, set up the tripods, try to set up the shots. And on top of that, with crutches and everything else, in the backpack, it was just exhausting, and I hit a wall. I just couldn't go any further. That was it. It's hard for me to admit when I can hit a wall, and that was definitely one of those times I hit a wall. I was beyond beat. Anyway, most of you probably haven't even listened to this far into this, except my mom. Hi, Mom. Thanks for listening. Anybody else who's listening, awesome. Appreciate comments, feedback, words of encouragement. It's been a rough 3.5 months on crutches for sure. It's tough pushing myself and just kind of going at it alone. You know, I get the occasional moral support, you know, hey man, wow, like, you know, there's guys that are like, you're my hero, or, you know, wow, that picture should be on National Geographic, and, you know, like, those words are really empowering and they help, but it doesn't keep me going every day. You know, it definitely helps boost me, but it's got to come within, and I'm just taking a little bit of time for myself to regain that energy to push myself further, and I think the diving is that next step, and as well for my foot. So stay tuned. Hopefully there's a lot more to come, and this should hopefully only keep getting better. Now that I'm walking, that's a plus. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to get dressed without having to sit down. That's a pretty cool feeling, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, stay tuned, keep you updated, and keep track of the blog. It's not going away.